Welcome to the All Comfort Services Home Comfort Zone podcast. I'm your host, Theresa, and I'm the marketing manager at All Comfort Services. Our podcast explores everything you need to know about your home's heating, cooling, indoor air quality, plumbing, and electrical systems. We share expert insights, practical tips, and engaging conversations with customers and businesses to provide solutions, ideas, and advice. Let's get started. Today, I have with me John Vardalas. And John is a customer of ours, a Comfort Club member. That's our maintenance program. And he's also was nominated and selected to receive a Lennox gas furnace and air conditioner through the Feel the Love program. So today I wanted to have a conversation with John as a person because I want to share some of our customers with other customers and the Madison community. John's an interesting person. In fact, just starting with John, how do I pronounce your last name? And I love the story you had about that.
Well, it's interesting. Thank you, Theresa, for having me here. I appreciate everything that All Comfort has done in the Feel the Love program and all of the services that you folks have provided me, which makes my lifestyle better. My name is Vardalas. It's a Greek name. My parents were from Greece. But in Greek, it's a three-syllable name, Vardalas. In English, it's more Vardalas. So that's why I encourage people to say, when you use my last name, think of Dallas, Texas, Vardalas. So that's how that whole thing evolved.
It helps to make ways to remember things.
Make it easier, make it to remember things, make it more user-friendly for people to remember.
Yeah. One of the interesting things I learned about you, John, you came to our 50th anniversary picnic, and that's when I first learned about who you were. And I think at the time, I was asking you some questions, and you said that you have a Boomer magazine. Tell us about this Boomer magazine.
Well, that's part of my business. I have my private consulting business is theamericanboomer.com, and I've been involved about 30 years as an independent consultant. I do a lot of speaking, training, consulting, and then I focus on financial services and association groups. But in terms of my baby boomer experience and background, I have a magazine called Today's Boomer that's part of my business. And it comes out quarterly, and it's basically a lifestyle magazine helping baby boomers with topics like finance, health, travel, anything they can do, home style, living, cultural things, religious things, just to help people enhance and make their lives more productive and enhanceful, if you will. So that's been my focus for about the past 30 years as an independent consultant, is trying to make lives people better, make a difference in people's lives. When I work for a company or an organization, I try to enhance the quality of their work life. And with the baby boomer generation, being a baby boomer, I try to provide information to help them age better, deal with situations better, and enhance their lives in a better way.
What are some things you've learned in your experience of putting together the articles and information and research that are kind of top of mind?
Well, one of the interesting things I learned is you need to have a source of information, where to go to find information like things. And I think one of the things I try to do is be sort of a clearinghouse and look at a variety of things. And for me, it's been also finding where things are that will help you enhance your lifestyle. So it's really trying to, now with Google around, is beautiful because you can just Google things and find out where things are at. 30 years ago, we did not have that. So I had to go on scavenger hunts. We go by trial and error. But I think one of the most interesting things for baby boomers, especially as we age, is where can you access information to help you live a better lifestyle?
What are the top things you've found on boomers' minds right now?
Well, a couple of things. Key thing, one is outliving their money. Finance is huge right now. We know the cost of living is increasing. It increases as you age. Not having enough resources or finances to help you with your retirement is a big thing now with baby boomers. Making sure that they invested their money wisely, making sure they spend it wisely now. But a big top of mind thing right now, number one is finance, number two is health, is making sure you take care of your health, because the cost of healthcare getting older is more expensive. And, if you should have a sudden situation, you need to be prepared for that. So I try to steer boomers in the direction of information for how they can improve their finances, as well as take care of their health.
And then what are some of the other activities you've been doing? You mentioned something about presenting on cruises.
Well, that's part of the thing. I'm involved with a group that does educational cruising seminars at sea, if you will, continuing education for specific trade groups. Instead of doing them in a conference in Las Vegas or Chicago, they do them on a cruise ship. So about 20 years ago, I connected with a group that does that, and I've had the privilege to speak to groups on cruise ships and doing seminars at sea, and I've done about 50 cruises the past 20 years all around the world, and continuing helping volunteers become better volunteers, helping CEOs of organizations train and take care of their people better, be a better leader, if you will. We also do things about outlook for the finance, what's coming down the pike in terms of financial situation they need to be prepared for. And then I do some strategic planning, helping organizations position themselves so they can grow and flourish. So it's been a really interesting career. And it's not just speaking, at venues around the U.S., but also getting a chance to go overseas and do some interesting things with the cruise lines. So I've been very fortunate and blessed.
Do you have any tips that you could share that you've learned some of these cruises? I know there's a myriad of topics that you just mentioned, but for example, management tips. What are some top tips?
Well, the big thing I try to manage is make sure that you're managing people, you're not intimidating people, and you're managing people to their potential. One of the things that I try to encourage CEOs and managers is to get the most out of their people. And the way to do that is to inspire people. People have their own self-motivations. I'm a firm believer you can't really motivate people, but you can create the climate for motivation. You can inspire people to do better. And I think too many times leaders tend to think, well, if you're not like me, you're not going to make it. And you have to tap into the potential of everybody and grow and set the right environment for them to be productive and to do better.
Do you have any stories around that?
Well, I have a lot of stories that revolve around bad bosses. I do a thing about what's a bad boss. And most of it is that people really don't care about their employees. They look at them as they're just a commodity, that if it doesn't work here, we can hire somebody else. And that's not the way to do it. You spend a lot of time and effort in recruiting people. You need to nurture them as well. I have a thing called pay your people, train your people, love your people, PTL. Pay them well, train them well, love them. Show them the love. The more you can show your employees the love, the more productive they will be, the more your business will flourish, and your customers and members will love them and love your organization.
Do you have any success stories from all of that training activities that you've been doing? Any good feedback?
Oh, I've had wonderful feedback from people saying, they just changed course. The biggest realization that I have is when CEOs and managers come to me and say, I did some reflective thinking, and I've been really acting like what I call a boss hole. I've been a boss hole to my people, not a really good leader. So when someone tells you something like that, where they have an aha moment, they say, maybe I shouldn't be behaving in this direction. Because remember, model the behavior you expect. People will go and react off how you're behaving, not what you're saying. So you can't say one thing and do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So model the behavior you expect. If you expect good behavior, you as a boss, you as a leader, need to show that.
And then how can people find out about signing up for these?
Well, they can just go to my website, theamericanboomer.com, and check out my website. I have a lot of resources. I have articles on my website. I have past issues of the magazine that you can receive, check out. But I have everything on my website, theamericanboomer.com. And it's just a resource out there for people to look at. Again, as a baby boomer getting older, you're looking for resources to help you. Maybe you can find some info there that can help add value and quality to your life, and maybe prevent you from doing something that maybe you didn't think through really well. So I encourage people to do research on things, check things out, check resources out before they engage in something, a big picture, if you will. In other words, do your homework, do your research. But right now, it's just there's so much information out there, especially now with technology, that everything is basically on your iPhone. You can just use your iPhone and find out a lot of great resource information. I encourage people to do that.
And then another facet, you and your wife Barb have been participating in community activities. Can you tell me a little bit about your neighborhood?
I love giving back to the community. You know, I've been a volunteer for almost 40 years of my life in one shape or fashion. I'm involved with my North Star Neighborhood Association here in Madison. We do a lot of things to enhance the quality of life in our community, as well as the rest of the city of Madison. I'm a board member, previous board member of my Assumption Greek Orthodox Church. I'm involved in a lot of their church's activities. My wife is involved in a lot of their church's activities. And then I'm a firm believer in supporting organizations like the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Association, because I had a situation a few years ago. My mother was impacted with Alzheimer's, dementia, and she passed away 3.5 years ago from that. And anything I can do to help people with information about, right now they're trying how we can prevent that, what you can do if something like that happens. Very, very important, very, very important. So these volunteer activities are close to my heart. And I think people should engage in volunteer activities as they get older, because it helps keep you engaged. It keeps you purpose in life. You must have purpose and passion in life. That's part of things that keep baby boomers going. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about the baby boom generation. We're engaged. Many, many of us still stay engaged, depending on if you're 60, 70, 80, and you're going into your retirement years. My advice to people is stay engaged in positive things for yourself, your family, your community.
What are some things, if you think somebody has Alzheimer's, what are some of the telltale signs, and then what can they do about it if that happens?
I'm not a professional physician or anything like that. I think they should go to a healthcare provider as soon as possible. But when you start forgetfulness is one of the key things that you start seeing early on. That's when you need to steer people in direction of a healthcare provider. Forgetting things, memory issues, probably one of the first signs.
And also, you live in the North Star neighborhood. What are some activities that you did this year, and what are you going to work on next year?
Well, we got a great neighborhood association here in Madison on the east side in the Grandview Commons North Star Neighborhood Association community. We're involved in the Bikes for Kids program, where we help donate 50 bikes to the underprivileged children in our community. We also supported the Take Back the Streets, the anti-gun violence activities here, working with the Madison Police Department. We're big supporters of the Madison Police Department in helping to curb violence as best we can. We're involved in community activities in terms of helping people in need in the community. We try to support other groups. We try to help organizations like food pantries and other schools when they have activities as well. So really stretch out and do a lot of things. One of the big things we'll be focusing on in 2025 again is looking at issues of violence, how we can prevent violence, what can we do to impact that, if you will, in the community, trying to encourage people to go to the right resources. We're also looking at some mental health, how we can get involved in helping people with mental health issues, which is a tremendous issue, not only here in the Madison area, but nationwide. So we're looking at a variety of things right now, but the key thing is just trying to create more awareness and really try to just connect people with resources to be able to help them.
And if somebody in our listening area, in Madison area, wants to get involved in our community, what would you recommend they do? I
would recommend that they go to the City of Madison website, Volunteer Opportunities. There are all kinds of volunteer opportunities. The Madison Public Library, the City of Madison website, the communities around here, Monona, Cottage Grove, everyone has volunteer opportunities available. You can contact your healthcare associations, the Wisconsin Alzheimer Association, American Cancer Society. There are all kinds of opportunities there for volunteers. The local food banks are very, very in need of people to help them out, the Salvation Army. It's just all you need to do is Google volunteer opportunities in the city of Madison, and you will find a plethora of opportunities for people to want to give back. And I highly encourage that.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, for taking time to talk about your life and sharing it with us and everyone listening. And thank you, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to suggest an idea for this podcast, you can email those suggestions to info@allcomfortservices.com.